I wanted to start with sort of a public service announcement. There is a group called Moms for Liberty who have taken it upon themselves to censor, to expel any books they don't like. Not that they've read these books. They might have heard a line of these books, and that's enough for them to ask to censor it so that their kids can't get a hold of it. And one of the latest books in their crosshairs is called The Fixer. It's by Bernard Malamud.
I read that.
I think it was,
I read that.
I think it was who played The Fixer? Some British actor, I can't recall. But the point I'm trying to make is this: the fact that, well, as we all know, if you begin by burning books, so to speak, you end by burning people. And Bernard Malamud, I've always considered him one of the more innocuous Jewish writers of the 50s, 60s, 70s. I haven't read everything he's written, but he's very good. And he also escaped from Brooklyn, and made it out to Iowa. Where did he wind up? He wound up in, I don't know, some Midwestern university, and he made a name for himself there. But what I'm trying to say is, what I want you to do is get a hold of The Fixer, get a hold of Bernard Malamud's book, which was made into a movie. See the movie too. Alan Bates.
Alan Bates.
Very good. Okay, all right. Give yourselves 10 points for remembering a British actor. But the point is, okay, why did they decide to ban his book? Because it talked about anti-Semitism and it was insulting to the Jews. That's not how it works.
This completely misses the point of the book.
Exactly. This is about a man, Yaakov Bach, who himself is based on a famous blood libel trial in the early 1900s under the Tsar. And the Yaakov Bach character is a handyman. And then he happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He is found in the vicinity of a little dead Christian boy whose body has been drained of blood. So when the Tsar's secret police or not so secret police arrest him, they can blame him for murder. And it was a cause célèbre all over the civilized world, France and America and England and so on and so forth. And I think in the end they put him in jail, but then they let him go. So I just ruined the book for you. But the point is that
This is a real story?
it is based on a true story, yes. And last night I could remember the guy's real name, and this evening I'm blanking out. But it'll come back to me. That's what I have to do. I have to start the old gray cells turning. But you don't ban a book like this for the purpose that it was trying to serve. Anti-Semitism is a bad thing, and it's historical. It's been called the oldest hatred. So anyway, I would love for you to get a hold of it. I don't have it in my library. I haven't checked Amazon, but I put myself on the waiting list. Yes.
If they're gonna ban books with sex and adultery and homosexuality and murder, why don't they ban the Bible?
Yes, of course. Yes, that has come up.
It has come up.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
just saying. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like,
All right. Thank you, Jim. That's a good point. Anybody else? Hey, hi, good shots.
it's happening.
All right, I'm sorry to begin on a negative note, but it's a new year. And we pray God to give us strength to overcome whatever tribulations exist. And we'll begin on page 13. After we light the candles. Elena, good entrance. Okay, all please rise. Wave our hands over the candles, bringing Shabbat. Cover our eyes and do the blessing. Oru Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher nitanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu, Shem Shalom. Asher Kishanu b'mitzvotav Vimisotav. Vitsivanu, Vitsivanu, Lahadlik Ner, Vitsivanu, Vitsivanu, Lahadlik Ner, Vitsivanu, Vitsivanu, Lahadlik Ner. Shem Shema. Please be seated. Thank you, the Shabbos. Page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Turn please to page 14. The name of the real life person who was accused of the blood libel, and I think 1904, something like that, was Mendel Baylis, Beilis.
Remember that name?
You do?
Yeah,
Did he live on your block?
no, but I remember the name from
Good.
studying that, yeah.
Good, wonderful.
Mental
All right,
Baylis.
not that it was wonderful, but it's important to remember. Page 14. So may loving God, compassion's gentle swords, take my disposition and shape it to your will, like a diamond. Before glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other deity will my hunger still. How splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, to heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure of your presence, bathed in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. turn to page 16 for the Psalms of the 6 days of creation. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, pasru miyom Yom Yeshuato. Let's read responsively, beginning with the 4 couplets, quartets at the bottom. Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence. Together, declare to the world, Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world, which stands firm, and judges all nations with fairness. Let the heavens rejoice, let the earth be glad. Let the sea and all it contains exult. Let field and forest sing for joy. Adonai comes to rule the earth, to rule the world justly, the nations with faithfulness. The last 4 lines of the Hebrew. Yismechu hashamayim etakel haaretz, yiram hayam umloho, ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo, oz yiranenu kol atzei yoar, Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, v'yamin emunatu. We'll turn, please, to page 20. This is the psalm. We do it here. But we also do it when we carry the Torah around before returning it to the ark. Mizmor l'David, Havul Adonai v'leilim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kivod shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai v'havrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai ehadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arzei ha'adon, Vayar kidem kimo egel, Levanon v'Sirion, kimo v'Reimim, Kol Adonai chosef lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai Yechol Elayalot, Vayechesof Yarot, Uveichalo, Kulo Meher Kavod, Adonai Lamahul Yashav, Vayeshev Adonai Melech Liolam, Adonai Oz Liamo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech et amo v'shalom. This psalm is unique in that it has the only mention in the Bible of a unicorn. It says, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Yes, 7 lines from the top. Vayar kidem kamo egel levanon v'Sirion kamo ven ra'emim. It's either an earthquake or the mountains and hills are hopping around very happily. God makes them dance like a goat, like a calf. Lebanon and Sirion like the children of Re'emim. Now a Re'em is a wild ox, or it might be a unicorn. And as I say, the only mention in the Hebrew Bible, and I think the Christian Bible, of a unicorn. I find that fascinating. Also, if you recall James Thurber, he wrote a Fables for Our Time, The Unicorn in the Garden. Yes, I always like that one. I do recommend it. It's probably online. The Unicorn in the Garden. James Thurber. Thurber. I was going to name my frog after James Thurber, but I ended up naming him Robert Benchley. I told you how it works in my family. Yes, Paul?
They're very easy to get rid of,
How do you, you have
the
to,
unicorns.
how do you get rid of them?
You just tofu.
Oh, yes, you could do that. You could only catch them with a virgin.
Okay.
Yes, he will come over and place his head in her lap. Yes.
So
Okay.
somebody from Arkansas less than 12.
I don't know. I don't think they have unicorns in Arkansas.
Who decided it was a unicorn? Because it could be translated other ways.
Yes, that's the beauty of Hebrew. It's very flexible. Yes.
Definitely is.
Yes. Okay.
Who said unicorn?
Oh, where did I read that? I suppose Howard Schwartz. He's a folklorist and anthropologist at the university. I can't remember what university. Yeah, I'd have to look him up. Sorry.
You're very well read.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, but I don't know where I live. Okay. Thank you. Page 21, the Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikavila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikavila. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el ha'yuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu lecha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nisucha, sofa sed mashava techila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise, page 22, fourth stanza. I've been singing this tune my whole life, and I only just now realized it's very good for a merry-go-round. Da, 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 and so on. Okay. I love when Jeffrey looks at me tolerantly. Oi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'tzala, tochen unei Am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Please be seated, page 23. Mizmor shir liyom ha-Shabbat. Read you solemnly.
The ring, you can't tell. I caught the ring.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
What is
You know, Jeffrey, when my mother passed away, you gave us a ring.
No, seriously, it's a
Yeah.
ring from the carousel in Coney Island. I caught it when I was 8.
That's very nice.
What is it from?
B&B carousel in Coney Island. See it?
Okay.
What I remember about that carousel was that it had a very elaborate orchestra. And what impressed me most was there was a little doll, a little man about the size of a doll, and he moved his arms up and down. And I thought, what a great responsibility for somebody who's a doll. Okay.
It's beautiful now. The city of New York bought it a few years ago
Oh,
and had it completely restored.
great. That's really nice. I saw one that was so shabby, it was in a mall, and instead of a plume on the horses, they got a Swiffer and stuck it in a hole in their head. Isn't that demeaning? Okay, let's get back to this. Tzadika tamar yifra yeres alvanon yiske shitulim bebeit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuven b'seva dishenim v'rananim yehu להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עלתו. We can put the Siddurim aside. Time for the Torah portion. Well, every so often, the Torah portion you find is exactly on top of current events. And is the most popular subject in America today? Judges. They're judges. They can tell us what they look like and their hair color and where they went to school and all that business. It was so sad, though, because just this past week, the judge in one of the trials of you-know-who wanted to go out for a cup of coffee. She had a full contingent of U.S. Marshals.
Oh my gosh.
It's a sorry state in the United States if this is what we have to do for our not juror. Are they jurors? Are they considered jurors?
Jurists.
Hello, good job.
Jurists.
Jurists?
I'm full.
Okay. It happens that the Torah portion for this week is called Shoftim, which means judges. And in it, Moses, if you want to go traditional, is giving the Israelites an overview of the civil laws that will rule them. We're not talking about wearing yarmulkes. No, nobody wore a yarmulke in those days. It's a minhag. It's a custom that became a chok, a law for which there is no logical explanation. Keeping kosher, there's no logical explanation for why we should eat animals with a split hoof that chew their cud, and so on. But there are plenty of mishpatim. These are mishpatim. Mishpatim are not laws, they're ordinances. They are ordinances necessary for the smooth running of society. You can't have people going around stealing from each other, adulterating one another, and all sorts of things like that. So let's see what we've got. Well, and what I've got here is somebody left it in the shul, which I think is wonderful. This is the Eitz Chaim Chumash. It came out in 1985. It's been reprinted. It is the official, if you care, Chumash of the conservative movement. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use other Chumashim as well, or even Christian Bibles. But in this case, it's really very good, and I may be dipping into it from time to time. Let's see if I can get by with this little overview that I always use. Well, Moses instructs the people of Israel to appoint judges and law enforcement officers in every city. There's a difference between a shofet. A shofet is a judge. A shoter is a cop. A shoter works in the mishtara. Mishtara is the police station. Okay? And in Israel, there's a whole controversy currently about who orders the police to do what. And I'm not going to get into that right now. Well, let's see. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdov. You know, if I could tell the sock story, I would be right on top of that. But I'm not going to do it. Oh, you want to hear it? Isn't that nice? Paul,
Some people have never heard this song.
yes, amazing. There are babies being born as we speak who have never heard the sock story.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. All right. The sock story. Yes, the story of the socks. Garbayim. Okay? I don't know how you say it in French. How do you say socks in French? Okay, les hosieries. Okay, here we go. There I am. I'm in graduate school. I'm not very happy. There really aren't too many happy graduate students. This was the 1970s. And I was also taking a Bible course someplace, so I ended up walking around New York City with the Anchor Bible under my arm. Very heavy Bible, the Anchor Bible. But thanks to my having taken a Latin course, I could read the monument stone of any Catholic church in New York City. Beati qui ambulant lege Domini. Blessed are those who walk in the light of the Lord, or the law of the Lord. Okay. Anyway, so it turns out that I have an interview coming up, and my father got it for me. He found it in the Jewish press. I get this job teaching Hebrew school the same day that Enbeth is hired to be the temple secretary. So I dressed like a bum in those days. I think most of us who came up through the 60s and 70s dressed like bums when we weren't working or going to temple or whatever. And I needed a pair of socks. Now my entire life, because I lived on the Lower East Side, the place of Orchard Street with all of its bargains, my mother had always taken us uptown to 34th Street to go to Macy's or Gimbel's or Corvettes or A&S or whatever it was. And I thought, all my life, I'm living in this neighborhood. Never once did I give any trade to the Orchard Street people. I'm going to Orchard Street. Well, I went to Orchard Street with my trusty Anchor Bible. It's probably the first time I ever, no, not necessarily. Anyway, and I go into the store, first store on the right, and I say, I need black socks, plain black socks. Oh, he says, you're my landsman, my chevraman, like we knew each other. I didn't know this man from Adam. He says, let me get you some socks. He gets me some socks, $5, which for me was a lot of money in those days. Well, I say, do I need a receipt? Can I get a receipt? You don't need a receipt. We know each other. You're my landsman, etc., etc. I take home. I try on the socks. They cut off my circulation. They were so tight. It was so impossible. So I go back. And the thing you need to know about Orchard Street, it's not like any other street in the world. You have lategayers. Do you know what lategayers are?
Yes.
What are
The
lategayers?
people who just sort of hang out and lean against the wall.
Very good. My parents always called them air inspectors because they would lean against the wall and they would breathe in and they would breathe out. They were air inspectors. So I go into the store and I say to the man, I want my money back. Who are you? I never saw you in my life. I said I wanted a receipt. I said, these socks are no good. He says, I don't want these socks. He took the pair I put on and he threw them in a box. He says, I'm not giving you anything. I said, how can you say this to me? You told me I was your landsman, your chevraman. How can you lie to me like this? And by this time we're out in the street. And the lategayers start crowding around because this is a thing of great import for them. And I stood there and I said, I want my money. You cheated me with those socks. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdov. Justice, justice shall you pursue. So he's going, shh, come in this door, come in this door. Stop making noise, you're making trouble. So I go in, he gave me $5, but he wouldn't take the socks that I tried on. Well, I felt vindicated. I felt wonderful. And 2 weeks later, I applied for rabbinical school. See? So you just never know. You absolutely never know. Which has nothing to do with this, actually. But let's take a look. All right, so who interprets Torah law in every generation?
Rabbi?
Yes, the rabbis. Which rabbis? Conservative, Reform, Orthodox?
Yes.
Reconstructionist,
Yes.
liberal, freethinker,
Them too.
new Jewish, New Age. New Age. We have New Age also. Mostly they're old hippies, but they call themselves New Age. Okay, you're right. See, and as I've said before, if you go to a rabbi and you ask him a Jewish question and he gives you an answer you don't like, there'll be another rabbi along in 15 minutes. Don't worry about it. You'll find a rabbi who gives the answer that you like. All right, so what else in Shoftim? Shoftim, don't practice not adultery. You certainly shouldn't practice idolatry. What is idolatry?
Worshipping idols.
Worshipping idols. Can an idol be a Corvette?
Yes.
Yes. Can an idol be, I don't know, a mansion in Spain?
Yes.
Yes, see, very good. So
Money.
we shouldn't do that.
Idol.
Sorry?
An idol can be money.
Yes,
Or
yes,
fame,
money is an idol.
fame, glory.
Yes. And sorcery. Now we're in dangerous territory. Sorcery. You shall not suffer a witch to live. And that was the verse. I was going to look it up before I left home. But that was a verse that was responsible for the death of thousands of women through the ages. Terrible, terrible. Including The Crucible by Arthur Miller, which is based more or less on the McCarthy trials. But anyway, what they're saying here, according to the rabbis in the Talmud, because as Jews, we not only read the Torah, this is the Torah Shabbat, the written Torah, we read the Torah Shabbat, the oral Torah, which is now written down, the Talmud. And in the Talmud it says, you shall not allow a witch to live by witchcraft. You should teach her another profession. You should teach her an honest way to make a living. It's like when you pass those storefronts and it says, read your palm, $5. And you come in, she said, I knew you were coming. I don't think they knew you were coming. I had this episode, this is also in Coney Island. All the cool stuff in my life, well mostly, was Coney Island. I'm on the boardwalk. I'm about ready to go to the subway. The subway was very expensive in those days, 15 cents. And I know it was cheaper even still.
I remember a nickel.
I know.
I remember a nickel.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, there was a fortune teller on the boardwalk. So I go in because I think my love life was not doing too well. My love life was non-existent. I was about 15. And she reads my poem, and she looks at the tarot cards, and she says, oh, this is going to happen to you, and you got the long lifeline, and here's another line, and look, the trains are going to crash, all kinds of things. And she says, you know, I'm going really well here. Give me another $5, and I'll tell you a better fortune. I said, lady, I need money to go home. I can't be in Coney Island for the rest of my life. Okay, so seriously, with sorcery, I don't know. I don't think we have anything wrong with white witches. I think we're talking Rosemary's Baby. And remember that movie with
Yeah.
Mia Farrow?
It
No?
was on today's.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay. See, I knew that. Okay. Anyway, there's another one. The Society, the Reckoning, the whatever. There's always a "the" in it. Okay. So what else? How a king should behave. Also, the Ore Miklat. Now, the Ore Miklat are very significant because what happens is when you're chopping wood, let's say that Shmerel and Beryl go out to the woods, and Shmerel has the axe, so he's chopping the wood. And Beryl is standing a little bit too close. And because Shmerel was never a Boy Scout, he didn't know that before you chop the wood with the hatchet, you should hold the hatchet, hold the blade of the hatchet in your hand, and circle around. And anyone within the compass of your hatchet circling should move back. So Beryl is practically on top of him while he's chopping with the hatchet. All of a sudden, because the head of the hatchet is loose, the hatchet head goes flying off and kills Beryl. Oi, what do we do about this terrible tragedy? What would you do?
I call for a doctor.
But he's dead.
You call for an undertaker.
So you give them chicken soup.
Yes, very good. Couldn't hurt. But what they would say is that
Compensation of some sort.
it would lead to a vendetta, because Beryl's family would go after Shmerel and they would kill him. Shmerel's family would go after Beryl's family, and it would never end. And that's how you get stuff happening in the Middle East for generations, and other parts of the world as well. So what you've got to do is this. You have a city of refuge, Ore Miklat, one of the cities of refuge. It is staffed and supervised by the Kohanim and the Leviim. See, this could be another good area for you to hold.
Make a
Yes.
time on it.
Yes, you could. It's a walled city. The person who's convicted of manslaughter, such as Shmerel was, goes to the city of refuge, and he lives there until the Kohen Gadol, the high priest in charge of the city, dies. Now, wouldn't that be a tough thing for Mrs. High Priest? Because every day these various murderers, well, they're not murderers, they're manslaughterers, are praying that the high priest should die. No, the wife of the high priest should make it her business to be especially kind to the inhabitants of the city who are all guilty of manslaughter, so that they would feel better about her husband. Did this ever actually happen? Do we have
No.
any record of a city of refuge? I don't believe so. But it's a wonderful idea, don't you see? It's a heck of a lot better than the situation we have in society, bless you, society today.
That's what Trump is looking for.
Say again?
That's what Mr. Trump is looking for.
What, a city of refuge? I'll give him a city of refuge. Gay and Doran. All right.
Mr. Trump.
Anyway, the rules of war. We can finish this up. If the Israelites are going to war, there are certain exemptions. One who has just built a home, one who has planted a vineyard, one who is recently married, one who is afraid or soft-hearted. Did these ever take place?
Sure.
You think so? All I have to do is go plant some grapes and I'm okay? It'd be a lot of grape planting.
Well, you would start planting a lot of grapes.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than moving to Canada.
Yeah, I guess so. But I have my doubts as to how much of this actually happened. Okay. Oh, and finally, when you besiege a city, you shouldn't cut down the fruit trees. Did that happen?
I'm sure it did.
I think you've got this kind of cloud cuckoo land warfare going. And I don't know if it was possible. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to see. And finally, the Egla Arufa. You've got two cities, okay? Give me a name of a city.
Jerusalem.
Jericho.
Jericho. Give me another city.
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem? Yes, Jerusalem is about as far from Jericho as you can get, but we'll play with it for our purposes. Let's just say you got Jerusalem and you got Jericho, and they have a boundary between them. And right smack on the boundary between the two cities is a dead body. What do? Well, first, collect the dead body. Next, move the dead body off the premises. Bring out your Levites. See, Paul, you guys were plenty busy in ancient times.
Got a racket going.
Yeah. also an eglah, also a cow, a heifer, who has not been plowed or milked or known other heifers, okay? And what you do is you take one of your stronger Levites and he snaps the neck of the heifer, and all of the wise men, that is the Levites again, declare, our hands did not shed this man's blood, God do not find us guilty. I could think they could have done that without killing the cow. All right? All right, that is really the Torah portion. It's very deep. It's a lot of fun. I don't mean it's a lot of fun. It holds your attention. It's not just you have leprosy, I
Well,
don't.
they wanted to make like a ceremony over.
They did.
Over an unknown corpse.
Yes, they did. But why did they have to kill the cow?
Well, why not? They had to eat.
They couldn't
Well,
eat it. It wasn't kosher.
I'm sorry, what, Dina?
I don't think it was kosher because
No, you can't eat a cow whose neck has been broken.
It's a form of sacrifice.
It is a form of sacrifice, but you see, mostly they were afraid that God would be angry with them. That's really the long and the short of the thing.
Also, there's a sense of who should feel guilty, this city or that city.
Right,
Who
neither
should go
city.
into mourning, this city or that city.
Right, and the Levites did not belong to either city. They were imported from New York City. Okay. Where all the good Levites come from. Okay, any questions?
Borough Park.
That's it, Borough Park Levites.
All very interesting.
Okay, good. Page 28. Hey, let me tell the sock story.
No. Oh, no. Anyone didn't know that?
we asked for it.
Oh, but it's so nice. We don't want to hear that. Seriously, it's a fun
My
story.
popular book claim. I still have those socks, no I don't. Please rise. Okay. Amichai, would you and your lovely wife open the ark, please?
Please. That's the only wife I got. I don't have any other women.
Yes, that's true. Let's just fold it over. And bow towards the ark. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Li'olam voed. Amen. Yasher koach. Thank you very much. Okay. Yasher koach. Thank you. Please be seated. Let's take a look at page 29 on the left-hand side, below the line. We'll read this all together. The Torah is a tapestry that can adorn the days in which we dwell. Let us embrace it and make it our own. Weave its text into the texture of our lives. Its teachings sustain us. Its beauty delights us when we open our eyes to its splendor. It is not a mystery far beyond reach. It is not in heaven beyond our grasp. It is as close to us as we allow it, on our lips, in our heart, integral to our deeds. Let us study its words, fulfill its commands, make its instruction our second nature. It is the tangible gift of God's love. Weave its text into the texture of your lives.
That's a very noble thing to say, but you just said, you know, a lot of these laws or rules or ordinances we never probably observe.
I don't know. I only go after the more outlandish ones. Yeah. It would be nice if they would dig up the ruins of a city of refuge. Yeah. Okay, thank you for your comment. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisroel. Amen. Page 30, cover the eyes. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaohed. In the English, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Continue now. Page 32, in the middle. Mi chamocha ha'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, no ratilot osef eleh, alchucha rovanecha, o ke'ayam lifnei Moshe, zeli adu v'yamru, Adonai imloch Leolam Vaohed v'nemar Yipad Adonai et Yaakov U'gialo mi'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Go'al Yisrael. Amen. Page 33, the top left. Paragraph we read for those who are not well, to have refuah shalema, quick and speedy recovery. Names?
Judy Cousins,
Refuah shalema,
Joel Cousins,
refuah shalema,
Lisa Saint.
refuah shalema.
Lauren,
Sorry? Refuah shalema. Okay. All right. Yes.
Lauren LaBelle.
Yes. Refuah shalema. Yes. I did speak with Esther earlier this
I
evening.
know,
Yeah.
Lauren's in bad shape.
She told me that Lauren will be going into some sort of care facility, and she is getting better. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
She told me she needs a liver, heart, and lung transplant.
Right.
She said her breathing, her oxygen.
Oh, her breathing, her oxygen capacity is reduced, but those other items can be postponed for now. Yeah. Yes.
Elizabeth Dvorak.
Refuah shlema.
Really?
Yes.
Norma Fogel.
Refuah shlema. Yes, I have a list, but I'd like to hear it from people. Okay, Emily Alter, Refuah Shalema. Judy LaCourte, Refuah Shalema. Murray Lichtenstein, Refuah Shalema. Jose Lou, Refuah Shalema. Maryland Drucker, Refuah Shalema. Gigi Palais, Refuah Shalema. Inez Pasher, Refuah Shalema. Susan Cohen, Refuah Shalema. Gary Ivan Rosen, Refuah Shalema. Eileen Carroll, Refuah Shlema. Barbara Osufsky, Refuah Shlema. Doreen Christopher, Refuah Shlema. Jeannie Tarrant, Refuah Shlema. And Carol Reese, Refuah Shlema. Anyone else? Let's read the English paragraph. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Amen. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, aporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol ha'olam kulo. Amen. Page 34, the Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ve'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti liolam, oti liolam, oti liolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki shesh yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Please rise, have Kaddish, bottom of 34. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalmad Yivrach Cherutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayei Chonu Yomei Chon, U'chayei Chol Beit Yisrael, Magala, Magala, Uvizman Kariv, V'meru, Amen. Yesh Meira Mevorach, Le'olam, Le'ol, Me'ol Maya, Yiparach, Yiparach, V'yishtabach, Yipohar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemnei Rekudesha, B'richu, Li'ela, in Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushpecha, Tavinechemata, Tamiran B'yama, B'meru, Amen. Yamidah, page 35B to 38. When you're done, you may be seated. If you haven't finished the Amidah, please continue. Otherwise, I'm on page 48 with the full Kaddish. Yitgadal Yikadashem Rabba Amen. Yalmad Yivrach Erutei V'Yamliach Machutei V'chai Chon V'chon V'chai L'chol Beit Yisrael Agalav Zman Kariv Yimru Amen. Nishmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Leomaya Yitvarach Yitvarach V'Yishabach V'Yipoar V'Yitramam V'Yitnaseh V'Tavdar V'Yitalev V'Yitalal Shmei L'Kudesha B'Richu Elav and Kavachata V'Shirata V'Shpata V'Nachmata D'Menem V'Yoma V'Yimru Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba Min Shemai V'Chayim Min V'Chol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Imromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael. V'Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'Yimru Amen. All right, after Rita is done giving out the wine, we'll do the Kiddush on page 49. Please rise.
No, that's the juice. This is the one.
Tell the difference.
Juice. Everybody got what you have.
Ancient Jewish secret.
Ancient secret. We put the wine in one solid cup. Then you put the juice.
I see. Go figure.
Because we can't remember by the time we come in here.
This is wine, this is juice.
This is Cameron.
That's the cabinet.
Yes.
Whatever you want it to be.
Oh, it's a good vintage.
Well,
Tuesday.
It's a Merlot.
I'll get the last one.
No, 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 it's a good vintage, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, are we good to go? Avri Mornan Rabbanan Rabbatai, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Pri Hagafen, Amen. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Kiddushanu Mitzvotav V'Ratza Banu, V'Shabbat Kodsho B'Yava, V'Ratzonin Chilanu, Zikaron L'Maaseh Bereshit, Ki Hu Yavtiv Tefillah L'Mikra'ei Kodesh, Zecher L'Yitziat Mitzrayim, Ki Banu B'Charta, Yotanu Kidashta, Mikol Ha'amim, B'Shabbat Kodshecha, B'Yava Uvratzon, Nimchaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, B'Kadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim l'shalom avsimcha.
What?
You don't like Jews?
It was a new bottle.
Great vintage.
It was a new bottle.
So sweet.
Huh?
Very Shabbat.
Okay, you may be seated. After Rita has a chance to collect the cups, we're calling upon our dear friend Amichai to do a song for us. Okay.
Well, what I'm hoping to do, and we'll have to see whether we can get the,
You gotta use the mic so you're going out on the airwaves.
oh, I want to go out on
Oh, okay. You're on the right-
What I'm hoping to do is in the future, when we can go out on the airways and get feedback, that we can do a song together. Now, this is difficult because of the feedback that happens. But there are songs that use the feedback. And these are the kind of songs that have a lot of repetition to them. So maybe we can practice a little bit of one. Like, for example, Shema Yisrael. We can do a whole service on various ways to sing the Shema. But let's start with something that could be call and response. So I'll say, she shall keep going. Shema, 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 Yisro, Yisra, Oro, Yisra, Roel, Shema, Roel, Yisra, yes, Shema, yes, Shema, yes, Roel, Roel, Shema, yes, Shema, yes, Roel, Roel, Shema, yes, Shema, yes, Roel, yes, Roel, Shema, Yisrael, Shema, Yisrael, Shema, Yisrael.
Yes.
Thank you, Amichai, that was certainly unusual. Something Sufi?
What's it called?
Oh, yeah, you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, but it's not,
That's not that?
yeah, this is like singing circles, cause, only in a singing,
Okay.
Oh,
only in a singing circle, he makes a sound and then you make a different sound.
ah, okay.
But this is just call and response, like.
Call and respond, yes, that I know from the Black
Rabbi
Church.
Andrew Kahn.
Right.
Yes. Okay, thank you both. Page 51, we have the Aleinu, and I'm going to ask Leland and Joel to honor us by opening the Ark for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, b'atei gidula liyotzeh breshit, Shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, Shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosei haaretz, u'moshe mikaro b'shamayim imah, u'shlinatu zo, u'shlinatu zo, v'dovei b'romim, u'Eloheinu einod, Emet Malkeinu, Efesu Ato, Kakatu, B'Torato, B'Yadatayo, Hashevota, El Levavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, B'Shamayim, B'Ma'al, B'Aretz, Haaretz v'tachat einod v'nemar v'chaya Adonai lemelech al haaretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Ushemo echad, Ushemo echad. Curtains are closed, the Ark is closed. If you're not saying Mourner's Kaddish, you may be seated. Thank you, gentlemen. Yoshakoa. Mourner's Kaddish 52. Yid Gadol, Yid Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalmad Yivrach Irutei V'Yamlich Malchutei V'chayei Chon V'mei V'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael Ha'agalau V'zman Kariv V'imru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivorach, Yolam Umeil Maya. Yitborach, Yishtabach, Yitpo'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei Tekudisha, Brichu, Li'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Tamiran bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba min Shemaya, Chaim Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael, Yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mamav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael, v'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Yimru, Amen. Be seated. A few words from our wonderful temple president, Ms. Rita.
Beautiful and charming, this man.
Dina, I didn't come back to stand with you because I had cottage for my dad today, so.
My condolences.
So, and Beth stood with me. This is one of the most wonderful things about our congregation. When we have your site, someone comes and stands with us. Today I had our wonderful Aunt Beth stood with me. I stood with Dina. I stood with Paul when he had your site for his cousin. We all do that for each other. And we all celebrate the happy things together, and we acknowledge the more difficult ones, the sad ones, although we remember with a lot of love those that we've lost. So I think that you know already that I think that we have an extraordinary temple family. And I have some more extraordinary things to tell you. Gesundheit. Good Shabbos to those of you who are at home, who I hope will come in and be with us on Slichot on September 9th. Because it's going to be a joyous, wonderful celebration. Don't miss it. But what I wanted to tell you is that you know that the holiday, this is the season of the envelopes. You're going to be getting envelopes. If they don't have my signature on it, they have Rabbi's signature. Don't be mad at us. This is the time of year when Temple Shalom raises funds. And without that happening, we could not maintain our beautiful synagogue and all the wonderful activities and events that we want to give to you. The first envelope you're going to be getting went out in yesterday's mail. It's for the Book of Remembrance. For those of you who haven't participated before in the Book of Remembrance, we have a book printed up with your loved ones' names in it, whoever wants to participate. And so you'll receive a beautiful letter about the observance of Yizkor and Yortzeit from Rabbi. And then there is a registration slip, if you like, for those of you who would like to have any additions to the ones you've had last year, or for new members, if you'd like to have your parents or any loved ones remembered. The 4 times a year that we do Yizkor, those books come out, and or you can take them home as well. And they're very, very meaningful. The second envelope is going to go out early next week, and that is a sisterhood mailing for membership in sisterhood, as well as for a fundraiser for the holiday flowers for the sanctuary, and for the holiday cards that are sent out to each member of the congregation. So there's a third mailing as well, but I don't want you to be upset when you get the envelope, because they're sent with love for the synagogue. And all of you always support everything, and we're so grateful for that. The last mailing that will go out will be your holiday tickets, and those are going out on the 31st. So everything is in order for the high holidays. So when you see Temple Shalom up in the upper left-hand corner of the envelope, smile a little bit, because that's the only way we can do it is with help from each and every one of you. I want to tell you about the first week in October. It's already exciting. We have on October 2nd, our wonderful Helena Hefner is going to do a class on exercise and dance class, and it's quite exceptional. It will be a blurb about it that Helena has written will be in next week's bulletin. It was very well written. No? You don't want it in the bulletin?
I have to revise it.
You have to revise it. It will not be in next week. But it'll be there soon. And there will be a wonderful class given by Helena in October, as well as the Thursday morning minions will be done live in the little chapel once again at 8:45 like they used to be, and Cantor Anita will be coming in to do that. So October is already wonderful, as is every day with all of you. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm only going to do this with the first 4 lines. It's Oklahoma. Adon Olam Hashem Olam Terem Kol Yitzir Nevra Li'ein Asar V'Chetzo Kol Asar Shelo Nikra Iyah Harei Lota Kol Ado Yimot Nora Ehu Haya Ehu Hove Ehu Yeh B'Tifara. Okay, 2 more lines. Ehu Echad V'Ein Sheni Lehamshila Leachbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'ozeh HaMitzrah. Never mind. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. We can do the whole thing sometime. Ve'hu Eli v'chai go'ali v'tzur chavli b'yetzara ve'hu nisi u'manosli v'nat kosi b'yom ekra b'yado afkid ruchi v'yetishan v'yayira Imruchi Iriati Adonai Li Velo Ira. Please rise, closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. The Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbos. Shabbat Tova.
Come for coffee and cake.
Shabbat
And tomorrow.
Shalom.
And tomorrow.